Hey, so just want to impart the 3 biggest lessons that I personally learned for the military personally that I would tell anybody. And if I had to do it a second time, I would absolutely tell them and urge them to think about these 3 things. You'll understand in a second. So just to dive into the first one, like straight up the bat. Number 1, take as many leadership positions as humanly possible. Be a leader. Just please, dear God, take leadership positions for anything and everything. I mean, seriously, be a leader. Be a leader. Just take on any position, no matter how stupid it is. I always looked at certain positions. I'm like, that's stupid. That one's weird. I'm not going to do that. I was the kind of guy, okay, who, and luckily I learned later on, but it was almost too late where I started taking on tons of leadership positions, that I was the guy that wanted to just skate by. I just wanted to skate by life. And luckily, it took some men who showed me the path, and I watched them. And everybody who I have ever seen, the greater the leadership position, the more burden they took on, they always were successful. Every single time. Every single time, without exception. I have never seen anybody that has taken on a main leadership role that has not achieved or what they wanted to get. Okay, and I've seen like in the Navy what I try to do. I'm not bragging about it. I'm just telling you what I did. Try to do Navy SEALs. I remember my RPOC. He made it. Okay, he was the RPOC, and I remember seeing him struggle, and he got better and better at being a leader because he took on the role. Okay, there's another person who I'm not gonna say his name, but we were doing an all-day march. We're just doing an all-day workout on the beach, and I remember that it was we were doing like this Indian sprint, like where it was one guy in the back and they were just like running in the front, and they were, you know how it is, like this is where it's a line of people and the guy in the back runs in the front. And I'll never forget what he taught me accidentally, which was that he would always, we had 2 sandbags amongst this line of people during this exercise, and he just always asked, like, give me both of them, give me both sandbags and I'll carry them and I'll run. And I sort of looked at him like an idiot, and now I realized I was the idiot. And I remember like he just kept volunteering to take on voluntary suffering from everybody. He always volunteered. Who needs a ride home? Who needs this? Hey, like who needs like a workout buddy? Just always being that guy. And I talked to some guys who were in the teams, and they're like, dude, they're like, that, that guy? Dude, that's like all of our favorite human being in the world. Like bar none, he's the best person ever, right? And he always took on leadership positions. So, but it doesn't matter what you do. If you're like we're gonna talk about the military. If you're gonna go to boot camp, spoiler alert, you're gonna have tons of leadership positions. They love leadership. Okay, you're gonna have leadership for dumb shit, dumb stuff. You're not gonna want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't see any value in it. Head PO, which means the guy's in charge of cleaning up the bathroom. Male PO, in charge of the male. It doesn't matter. Take on a leadership position. If you don't take on a leadership position, you are screwing everybody over. Everybody, especially yourself. Because when you take on a leadership position, what it's actually doing is you are training yourself. You feel purpose, okay? That's number 1. But on top of that, it just adds more willpower. You're taking on more responsibility. And for some reason, everything in life feels easier when you have more responsibility, no matter how from the outside, it almost looks like you have a redundant responsibility. You're in charge of the trash cans. It looks stupid, right? But you have a responsibility. That's all that matters. You'll just develop faster as a human being amongst multiple areas which you don't even understand yet. And most people are not going to, because they're not as intrinsic, and they don't understand. They're not as what's the word I'm thinking about? Yeah, I mean, they're just not as intrinsic, and they're not looking into themselves, and they're not craving and understanding what they're actually after. Like, they're not trying to develop commitment and discipline and consistency and commitment and all these little micro skills that are going to develop you as a human being and a character. But taking on these leadership positions, somehow everything in life and every burden is so much easier when you have responsibility. And it just develops you in a way that nothing else can, except for taking on leadership responsibility. It's something evolutionary. I'm going to go that far. Instinctual. When you take on responsibility, your brain recognizes it and you just develop differently and more advanced. That's all I could say. And yes, I'm saying that for even the dumb shit, even the leadership positions that seem like they make no sense. So if I could go back, I would have just taken every single leadership position ever that I could possibly get my hands on. I would have volunteered more. Who needs help? Who can I help? How can I help you? What can I do? What can I do to be of service to you? Okay? John F. Kennedy, what is this famous saying? Ask not what your country could do for you, ask what you could do for your country. Okay? But seriously, just be a genuine human being and it will all come back to you tenfold. You have no idea, but you don't need to have any idea. You just need to take it on and just take on some responsibility. Second one, this is the big one. This is going to be an interesting one to articulate. Do not trade your purpose for coochie. Under any circumstance. Under any circumstance. Okay? Me and all the greatest men in the world who I look up to, great men. Arnold Schwarzenegger, like really big people, have been brought down because of lust, because of a woman, okay? So almost every single time, and again, I'm taking full responsibility, but for me personally, every single time that I have made a huge mess up in my work, in my studies, in my goals, or getting extremely distracted, is because of some kind of a sacrifice for a woman, okay? It could be in the military, and this is not me bragging, I'm just letting you know this would happen over and over again. I keep getting in trouble for it. I'm not saying I'm drowning in women, but what happened is I date a woman and then all of a sudden I break it off because, and I wouldn't do it in a good way because I sucked at communication, and I would date another woman and then they would get pissed and then they would report me for, something. They'd find some way to fuck me over like hell hath no fury like that of a woman scorned. I swear to God. Right? But those are certain circumstances. That's just some things that happened to me when I was in the military. I mean, when I had a job outside of here, doing stupid things. I remember I almost lost a job. I only didn't lose the job because I was producing, I was doing 3 times the amount of work as everybody else. But I slept with a client, right? And this was very bad. I'm not going to say the company. I'm not going to, you make a guess because But, the word got out about it. What ends up happening? Lose a massive amount of respect. And you know what was even worse and what really eats me up is I did it and I beat myself up for it, right? But I was literally about to get a promotion in a leadership position. I remember, I think 2 weeks before I did that, I got pulled into an office and said, hey, you were the future leader of this company. It was me and 2 other guys. Me and 2 other guys were in this office. You 3 are going to be future leaders of this company. So we just want you to know that. And I've never been talked to like that in my entire life. I was just so inspired, and then I completely effed it up, right? And it was because, the woman was very, very beautiful, white dress, all that jazz, whatever you want to make up. And it just makes you lose respect, and people lose respect for you. And think about all the people. Tiger Woods, Arnold Schwarzenegger's a couple of them. I can't think of too many others. I know the head of the CIA, he was a guy, ended up banging a journalist, okay? Clinton, for fluff's sakes. Try not to swear as much. But it's just because they just don't have control of their sexual desires, okay? And multiple times, even if it's not that big, even if it's smaller, it's actually more massive. When I say smaller, what I'm talking about is giving up your goals because of a woman. I remember one time, I mean multiple times, one time I was trying to write a book. For some reason I had it really in my mind that I wanted to read a book. And I was really trying to get I was really trying to work on my fitness. and I was working out twice a day, and I was working on my diet. And then all of a sudden this woman, she loved to eat out. Okay. And then I started convincing myself, I'm like, I could do the book. I think it started out with like, first I'll do one workout a day. I could still fit it in. It's whatever. And then it was the diet, and it was like, all right, it's not what you eat, it's the way you work out. It doesn't matter. I could just make it up later. And then eventually it became the book somehow. And it was the dumbest thing in the world. And I remember it just eats away at you in a different way. And the worst part about it is you don't know it until about a year or two later. You know it, or for God forbid, 5 or 10 years later. You only realize how terrible that is in retrospection. That's the only way you're going to realize that, is in retrospection. And it's the most painful feeling in the world, bar none. The most painful feeling is that feeling of like, dude, I kind of betrayed myself there. For what? For a woman? And ironically, the craziest thing in the world is that the best complaint I ever get in my entire life, I love hearing this. This is my favorite one in the world. You don't text me enough. You don't talk to me enough. I love hearing that. It's my favorite thing in the world. We don't talk enough. I'm like, yes, I'm doing it right. Finally. That's how I know I'm doing it the right way. Because ironically, if you spend too much time with a woman, they're not going to like you anyway. When you're on your purpose, they respect it. They respect it in a different way than, I swear to God, and I've done this multiple times and I've learned it and I don't ever want to do it again, is, hey, you're going to go do something and you're like, hey, you know what? Never mind. Let's go do this thing you want to do. All respect is lost. I'm going to go to the library and read. You want to go to the coffee shop. I'm like, all right, let's screw the library. I'm going to go to the coffee shop with you. All respect is gone. You're doomed. You're doomed. That one only took me, I think, like a couple times doing that one. So just please, from every aspect of your being, don't focus on women at all. Don't sacrifice your goals. I swear to God, if anybody on here is even thinking about doing that negotiation stuff, I actually really like this girl. I don't want to be, I don't need to rule planet Earth. I don't need to make all this money. I don't need to be, this Olympian guy that makes these, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. Okay? Because you're giving up on yourself. Okay? And if there's a woman who you're very faithful to your woman, and there's this other woman out there who's so beautiful that all of a sudden you want to cheat, okay? I'm telling you, it is as simple as it's an evolutionary thing. You want a new mate. That's how guys work, okay? It's built in us. There's multiple scientific experiments to realize that. It's the whole reason why the pornography industry is so successful, is because guys, they just want new stimuli, new woman, new mate, and they keep going forever. You have to be cognizant that it's going to happen to you. It's called the woman in the red dress syndrome, and you just gotta no, just say no. All right. And if you're in the military and you're dating a woman, what's so funny? People, just gonna bring it back real quick, and then we're gonna go on to the next one. People always told me, what they told me? Careful, dude. You keep doing this, you're gonna find that one that's gonna do something for you. Use this sapper stuff. You ever look around and you're like, imagine if there's so many beautiful women around. Imagine if you just talk to every single beautiful woman that walk by you. Every single one of them. Okay? So many guys are like, God, if only I just talked to even half of them. I talked to every single one of them. No exceptions. I was shooting my shot every time. I still do it. I just boom, 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 boom. I'm just shooting baskets. They're not landing. Like 99 out of 100 are not going in, okay? Hopefully not that statistic, Jesus. But they pretty much don't ever really pan out. I just freaking shoot a lot of shots. And I get pretty good because I shoot so many shots. Okay? But back to the military, dear God, do not do that to people in uniform. If you're going to do that to civilians. Please. Got me into so many bad situations. You want to be that tough guy? I was that tough guy that's like, I don't give a fuck? What do I care? You know, come at me. They'll find a way to come at you in a way you didn't expect. And it's not just gonna be awkward, because I could take awkwardness. I could take asking a girl out and then going to the gym and then seeing her and be like, all right, cool, great. Asking a girl out at Starbucks and then see her again. Cool, I don't care. But it's different when you're in the military. It's not just awkward. It's gonna destroy everything. It's gonna destroy something. So please, dear God, don't do that. And then number 3, just kind of, I guess it kind of would build off this a little bit. You don't have to engage in hedonism in the military. You seriously do not, okay? A lot, and what I'm saying is not just girls, but I'm saying drinking, smoking, spending your entire paycheck on food, video games. You can be on your purpose. One of the biggest things people will say in the military is what? Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. You feel like you have no purpose. You know, you're just sitting around doing nothing. All right? I engaged really heavily I spent all my paycheck on what? Food, cigarettes, vapes, and then more food and alcohol. And I literally spent at least over half my paycheck on food and taking women on dates in diners. Again, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I shot a lot of shots. So you don't need to do that. You could save up your money. You can read a book, okay? Got like 3 books in front of me right now. Here's one I'm reading right now. GSP, okay? This camera is literally on a book. It's literally on a book, you know? You can, let's see if I prop that up there. You can work on a side business. You can work on your purpose. You don't need to indulge in hedonism and drinking. The military, there is so much goddamn drinking. And everybody wants to blow their money on food. We have galley food. You have free food, okay? It sucks. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? When you make $1,500 a month and you have to eat all this garbage. But you know what, man? Eat it up. Eat it up. It's good calories. If you want to start posting, you could spend your weekends editing videos, learning a skill, going to college online. I don't know where cut out there. But they had this like program where they would tell you that you can go to college online if that's something you value. Me personally, couldn't give 2 shits about college. But if that's something you value and you want to do something that means you need a college degree, then do it. Again, it's one of those things that you're not going to understand in the moment, but it's only going to happen. It's only going to happen in retrospection. It will only happen in 1, 2, 5, 10 years from now when you're like, dude, I wasted so much time. The one unrenewable resource, time, right? Why? Because all my friends were just doing this thing. And I remember like literally I wanted to. It's something you have to, this is very, very important actually. It is something you will have to set a boundary with. There is no option. You will have to start setting boundaries. It's not maybe, it's not if it comes across. I remember there was a part where literally I'm stuck in one spot for fucking over a month. Okay, I'm just sitting in this one spot, not able to move, and I had all these books. And honestly, I was excited because I wanted to read all these books. But what ended up happening, people kept coming to my room. They kept wanting to talk to me. They kept wanting to do things, okay? And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but I'm saying I didn't really give a fuck about these people, and I didn't want to talk about the dumb stuff they wanted to talk about, okay? It's all just gossip. I eventually had to set a boundary towards the end of like, hey, look, I love to talk. I love to hang out. I understand you want to go for 1 billion smoke breaks, but look, I'm trying to finish this book. I want to finish 2 books a week. Please just like, let's keep it to a minimum, okay? Guess what will happen next? You will get fucked with. You will absolutely expect to get fucked with. Oh, you think you're a big shot. You're going to read now as a scholar. Oh, you're going to try to start an online business. Oh, wow, you're going to be a billionaire, huh? Expect it, anticipate it, understand it's part of the process, and love that. Love the criticism. It means you're doing something correct. It's a sign of the right thing. Also, it's a sign you're talking to a bastard. It's somebody that's not even going to be a friend of yours when you leave, which is good. So it's just like, you just don't have to engage in the hedonism. You don't. So top 3, again, take on a leadership position by any means necessary. You will have an amazing life. Number 2, the women will come. Please, dear God, do not give up any part of your soul or your life or negotiate with yourself. If you negotiate with yourself, you know you're doing it. Do not negotiate with yourself about settling for a woman, okay? And number 3, you don't have to engage in hedonism. There's bigger things in the world. You're training yourself to start liking long-term goals, and you're training yourself to be separate from the crowd thinking. Crowd thinking is what? Drink, spend your money, have your paycheck on food, and smoke, okay? That'll be it. Maybe I'll come up with some more. Maybe I'll find out a better way to articulate this. Until then, just keep those 3 in mind.